Good morning, Houston. I'm meteorologist Kim Castro. Nice start to the day. We are going to have some cloud cover in place, but by this afternoon, you will see peaks of sunshine, and it is shaping up to be a nice day for outdoor activities. Of course, if you can stand the heat, don't forget to stay hydrated and start early so you don't have to catch up later on in the afternoon. 75 degrees right now in Brenham, clouded over, 79 for Tomball, starting to see some peaks of sunshine. Galveston's at 84 and IAH is at 81. Here's your hourly planner. So very quickly, we are going to jump into the upper 80s by late morning. Then it's inevitable we get into the 90s. Low to mid 90s for most spots today. 91 by 1 o'clock, 93 by 3. And I do think your high temperature today peaks at 95. We are going to continue to heat up as we head into our Sunday, and then for the start of the week, we will be in the upper 90s. Notice the trend is going to be very different than what we saw for the start of this past week. We're actually going to be running fairly dry. No rain in the forecast. A nice little break. So here's a live look at radar. You'll notice there is nothing to track. Last little shower that is fizzling out for west and central Texas. You'll notice, though, there are still some active alerts, and that is from all the rain that came down this week. There are still active flood warnings. This is going to take some time for the water to recede as it is continuing to travel downslope. So by Wednesday morning, most of the flood concerns as far as river flood goes should be lifted. But until then, all the way to Port Lavaca, we're going to be tracking, in Port Arthur, I should say, we will be tracking the water levels. Wetter than normal for the western side of the country and the eastern side too. That is expected all the way through the end of the month. Lucky for us, the Lone Star State is actually expected to be either average or slightly drier. The outlook for the hill country is drier than average, and that is good news. So rain potential for us for the next 5 days. Zilch, nothing to worry about. You do not need to carry your umbrella. You do not need to think about alternate plans when it comes to the potential of afternoon storms. We are not tracking any rain. With that, though, we are tracking plenty of heat. We are expected to be warmer than normal and in good company. Most of the U.S., same thing, warmer than normal, except for the Great Lakes region in the Northeast. Temperatures are going to be running a couple degrees below what's average for this time of year. In case you want a little escape from the heat, you know where to make those last-minute summer plans. Lots of heat in place here in Houston, and of course there's lots of humidity along with that too. So today the air mass is tropical. Anytime we see the dew point, that is the measure of moisture, anywhere in the 70s, it is instant sweat is what I like to call it. You get a little bit of a reprieve from that on Monday, but it's very short-lived because you'll notice those dew points start climbing back up into the 70s as we head into the start of the week. So what does that feel like when you factor in the temperature and the humidity combined? It feels about 10 degrees hotter than the actual air temperature. You'll notice the only spot that is seeing less humidity is far north, Conroe, farther away from the Gulf. But everybody else gets an impact from the humidity even as early as 8 a.m. So in Sugar Land, it is 81, but it feels like 89, feels like 89 at IAH2, although the actual air temperature is in the low 80s. So as we go through the afternoon, it is going to feel like the triple digits pretty soon. So you'll notice 4 o'clock, that is peak heating of the day. That heat index goes up to 105 degrees. Heat advisory criteria starts at 108. So we are barely below that, splitting hairs. It's hot regardless. And you should probably take precautions in that kind of a heat, especially if you are planning any outdoor exercise. I highly recommend you get up early. I know this doesn't sound tantalizing to get up at 5 a.m., but that's why you'll see a lot of runners training for races get up so early on the weekend. It's to take advantage of that, the coolest part of the day. 78 is the feeling at 5 in the morning, which is more bearable than, of course, the triple digits. Aside from our local forecast, of course, this time of year, we are always tracking the tropics, and there is one area that we are monitoring off the coast of Florida, off the panhandle, a 30% chance over the next 7 days that this gets some development. Overall, it's a wide area of low pressure, bringing in stormy conditions regardless to portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into Florida. If you had any plans for the summer to go to Florida, this week is probably not going to be the best. It is going to be really stormy, and that's actually going to lead to a meetup of this low and a front that will bring some pretty wet conditions for the eastern seaboard all around. So if you have plans in Florida, the Carolinas, Virginia, all the way up into Boston even, it's going to be a fairly wet week ahead. If there is organization a little later on in the week, we could see our second named storm of the season, which would be Bertha. So far, we've only had one named storm. By this point in the season, it's pretty typical to have seen two, so we're not behind by any means, and actually we prefer to be behind anyways. This is our trajectory. So the peak of hurricane season is September 10th, so we are still ramping things up. But luckily this season we are under an El Nino. You've probably heard us talking about that, and that generally tends to favor less activity in the Atlantic basin and more activity in the Pacific side. The Pacific gets a lot of warm sea surface temperatures when we are under an El Nino. And for us, we tend to see more wind shear, so wind that tears the storms apart when they do try to form. So that's why we typically tend to see less tropical activity during an El Nino season. 7-day forecast looks like this. So we're really just talking about the heat this week. You'll notice there are no rain chances in the forecast. Yes, some days we'll have a little bit more cloud cover. I think we'll have pretty high humidity. So with that, is it possible to see a few sprinkles here and there? Yes, but overall there are no big pushes of sea breeze, thunder showers, or any short waves, any disturbances moving through the area. It's actually pretty static, high pressure setup. So you'll notice high temperatures are going to get close to, if not touch, the triple digits. By Wednesday, I think we're going to get really close to that. And we haven't seen a triple digit day so far this summer. I hope I didn't just jinx us. You'll notice those overnight temperatures are really warm too. So we'll start off at 76 degrees tomorrow morning. And then by Wednesday, I think the coolest part of the day is 80 degrees in the morning. So that is a pretty toasty 7-day, if you ask me. All right, we are going to be live on Channel 11 at 9 in the morning, so I will see you there with another update. I will have a check at tropics. I will have a check at the hill country, river levels receding. I'll also give you an update on that earthquake in Mexico. If you didn't catch our newscast yesterday, there was a major earthquake, 7.3 preliminary reading off of southern Mexico bordering Central America. Other regions were impacted as well, so I will have an update on that. We'll see you at 9 a.m.